Hi viewers, and welcome to our 2019 Pre-Pack Expo video series. I'm here with Jorge Izquierdo of PMMI. He's been gracious enough to join us again this year for a few videos to talk about some of the technology, some of the advancements in the industry in advance of Pack Expo. So Jorge, thank you so much for joining me again.
Andy, thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure. So let's jump into it. We've got a few different topics to talk about. I wanted to start with machine learning and artificial intelligence. It's a very wide-reaching, vague sort of topic. I know you can go a million different directions with this, but it's something that's starting to make its way into the world of food processing machinery and into my sphere, meat and poultry processing machinery. Folks are wondering about it. So what are you hearing in terms of the advancement of machine learning and AI as far as meat and poultry processing operations go?
So when you're talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence, I want to start to present it in a very basic way. You know, it's pretty much number one thing is everything is about data. You know, it's getting the data, and these days with all these trends, Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, we're getting all different kinds of data from our production lines. And the trick here is what you do with the data. So it's first you get the data, the kind of the low-hanging fruit is displaying the data first, storing the data, sharing the data, and then it's when the machine learning and analysis of the data starts to happen in terms of you process the data, and we're talking about humongous amounts of data that I guess you can think, well, maybe you can do it manually, you can do it by yourself. No, we're talking about millions and millions of data points. How to make sense, how to identify patterns out of those data points, and how to use those patterns to make decisions, to create insights, and how to make the process more efficient, and at the end of the day, the business more profitable.
So is it a question now of, say, computing power? Do we have enough computing power out there to handle all of that data and analyze it properly? Or is it still a world of data collection where there is just a limitless amount of data and maybe we're only collecting that much?
I guess the challenge is not really processing power, it's really processing the data in the right way, making sense of the data. In many times you would want to do it yourself, but that says, well, you know, that's something I would love to do, and I think it makes sense. Just the amount of data is very large. It's not something that in general companies want to take on their own. Maybe they want to work with third parties or use software that help them analyze the information and generate specific outputs, you know, that you can take decisions based on them. So it's not really about having enough processing power. I would say, more about having the right people that can understand data, work with third parties to deal with this data, and make this data useful for the company.
So are we looking at, I guess, if you will, an employee boom coming forward of data analysts? Should, you know, if you're looking at today's college students, should they be studying data analysis and mathematics and probabilities and, you know, those things, where they're going to hit the workplace, the manufacturing workplace in general, and there's going to be this need for data analysts and data processors, if you will?
For sure. I guess years ago when we talked about technology, we thought about mechanics, electronics, controls, programming. Now a lot of it's about data, you know, how to use that data towards generating, enabling AI and machine learning. And I guess once you're able to do that, what you're going to see, some of the benefits, you know, on the platform that you're going to see is what's the right way to organize your manufacturing day. You know, should I start, you know, by filling all the containers, all the small containers together, or should I start with all the containers that go in this size of the box first? So how to organize your manufacturing, how to make it more profitable, things that are not necessarily, that not at all obvious, for the operators. How to get all those insights and make the operation more profitable.
Yeah, and as efficient as possible.
As
so it's a
efficient as
very
possible,
efficient
always,
efficiency play. Okay. So, the old TV show, The Jetsons, right? They put on your Jetsons hat for a while, and 20 years down the road, what can machine learning and artificial intelligence bring to the meat and poultry processing industry? We talk about robots all the time and this and that, but what about machine learning and artificial intelligence in a perfect world? Where is this headed for the meat and poultry industry?
I guess it's already happening, but in terms of machine learning, when you get, for example, a carcass these days you start, you inspect it, you X-ray it, you scan it. With all that data and every day, different ways to process the data, different ways to handle the carcass, how to cut it, how to slice it. Pretty much number one, making sure that all those dangerous tasks, are not relying completely on the human side, trying to make the operations of the meat, poultry operations safer on one side. On the other side is, from the very beginning, you understand what type of product you're going to find, what type of cut you're going to make, what's the size, what the fat content you're going to end in the final product. So you're not guessing. You already know before you start cutting, you know what you're going to get at the end.
Got it. Well, thanks a lot, Jorge, for talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence. We've got a couple more videos that we're going to do here on blockchain and robotics and automation. So we appreciate you taking the time now, and we'll talk a little bit about a couple other things.
Sure. Thank you, Andy.